Hello, I'm Tucson Mayor Regina Romero. Tucson is a city known around the world for our rich arts, history, and culture. Our creative economy is thriving, and our city's breathtaking murals are an important part of how we celebrate our shared history. Guided by our Somos Uno cultural heritage strategy, I hope that you can join us to celebrate the work of local artists Ignacio Garcia, Camila Ibarra, Pen Macias, and Joe Pagac. Through their murals, they are helping us celebrate 250 years of the establishment of the Presidio, the history and the people who have shaped our region for millennia. I am proud to partner with the Rio Nuevo District, Presidio Museum, Downtown Tucson Partnership, and Visit Tucson as we uplift our cultural heritage and celebrate our rich history through public art. I believe that the arts are essential to a thriving, inclusive community. I hope that you can visit, reflect, and celebrate with us.
When this was approached, I was actually painting a mural at Johnny Gibson's with these portraits, and the idea I came across was, hey, what if we kind of come up with a mural with the name of Tucson, which is the native language of Tucson. And I'm like, I love that idea. So I was like, let's do it, I'm down. I do a lot of research. I try to engage. I try to learn about the little details about the community. I had to go to talk to some tribal members to get approved to get, if I can use some of their images. So talking to Samuel of the Tohono tribe, and then having him see the concept, he was really excited. Really, really excited to see that. I was blessed that he actually approved all of them. The images that I used, there are actually two different types of images. One was a photograph of the three Native men, and then I wanted to include a woman in there because it's what she was wearing and the head basket that she was using, I think that was an important element to kind of fit in the visual, but overall the artistry that goes behind the culture. Because everyone's is so used to having the deer dancer as becoming the focal point, but there's more to that. There's actually more members that actually play the instrument to kind of connect the whole story together, which I never knew. And these are actual real photos of real people. Again, using real elements and real stories, and then real people that goes with that. Putting the whole ideas together while painting it, you start putting your artistic elements to it to kind of feel everything as if it was one piece. I felt like something was missing. And I was thinking, one thing is missing is the capilla. It's been rooted here in the Sonoran Desert with any tribe, the Mexicans and even Americans that use this outlet of, representing someone just passed on or even someone that you look up to. Every time I paint a mural that comes to something in this level, I try not to make it political at all. It's literally a reflection of what I see in Tucson. And for me to create something how I see what Tucson is in a beautiful element, this is how I express it in a beautiful way in a mural.
Getting to be one of the 4 artists who was chosen to do this is a huge honor. It's awesome to have Rio Nuevo and the mayor reach out and have me be a part of their huge celebration and to be a part of downtown and part of that placemaking. I would say the story of this piece is a story of a lot of different groups of people who have all contributed their own little bit of the story to what is now Tucson as a whole. So I've got the native pots in there, I've got the Mexican blanket, I've got the cowboy spurs, I've got the cowboy hat, and then in the background against the sunset, I've got the downtown Tucson skyline. So it kind of takes you from that old historic era all the way through to the current modern day without actually having any people in the mural. I went ahead and put all the different mountain ranges from around Tucson in the background. So that's one thing, if you know your mountain ranges, you'll recognize them. Every piece that I paint, the goal is always to make people smile and have it make their day a little better when they go by. So I'm very strict about which jobs I'll take. I won't do anything political. I won't do anything that's going to divide people rather than bring them together and brighten their day. For me, my goal is to leave as many people smiling as possible at the end of the day. You know, when I started doing murals here, murals were not a big part of the city's culture at all. And now we're known for our murals. Like, people come to Tucson just to see them, just to tour around them. Being a muralist, I think, is one of the most fantastic jobs, because all day people are yelling at you that you're doing a good job at your job, which nobody else gets in their career.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Tucson, Arizona. I ended up going to Phoenix for engineering school at ASU, and I stayed there for about 7 to 8 years, but I made my way back to Tucson just because it's home. I love Tucson's culture, and I love living here, so I'm happy to be back. My reaction to being selected as an artist to paint this mural, I was in disbelief. I'm a little newer compared to the other artists that are doing this project as well. And so getting an email from Janny that said Ignacio, Joe, and Pen are going to be the other artists, and that Jessica Gonzalez recommended me, it was just all the names of people that I've looked up to for a very long time. So it felt very unreal. Sorry. I knew I was gonna cry. It makes me emotional because now that I've become more of a successful artist and just being recognized alongside some of the people that I've looked up to for a long time, it feels very validating, and it feels like I'm on the right path and doing what I'm passionate about. I've worked really hard to get to this point, so it's rewarding. When I first saw the wall at Riley's, the composition, the wall spoke to me. I think a lot of people saw it as a challenge because there's a lot of windows and doors that are uniquely shaped. Instantly, when I saw the wall, I had a vision. So I drew some lines, some curves of how I wanted that composition to look. And then from there, after doing a lot of research and choosing the objects that I wanted to be in the mural, I placed them to fit within those lines so that it would create a smooth flow. I talked to a lot of members of Tanaʻatam. I got a lot of feedback from them. I created a design initially based off of research that I've done. That aspect of the mural I really wanted to represent accurately and beautifully. The woman, what she was wearing specifically, I wanted to represent her attire with just cloth covering her parts, because this era is all the way into the Hohokam era. That's really all they would wear. She's weaving a basket. I wanted her to be there very peacefully, this is her home. I also wanted to include the saguaro cactus because I know that represents the new year for Tanaʻatam, as well as the fruits and the role that those play in their everyday lives. And I really wanted that to come off very beautiful and very peaceful. I really wanted to include Father Kino in this mural because he just represents alliance and peace within the Tanaʻatam community. And then I did want to include the San Javier Mission right behind him to show how he helped lay the foundation of that church. What I usually try to accomplish with all of my murals is a sense of belonging and community. I think that when people see this mural, I want them to feel seen, and I want them to feel like they're part of Tucson's culture. I want them to be able to resonate with the things that I have included in this mural. And I know that in the future, Tucson's gonna keep developing and changing, but I think that this culture that we have now is ingrained, and it's something that a lot of people can resonate with, and I hope that they feel that when they see this mural.
When I was 14, I started covering my parents, God bless them, let me cover their house in murals. So I've been creating murals for a long time. As a member of the Tucson community, I was so thankful to Rio Nuevo that they were making this investment into arts in our city, and honored that I could be part of it. I really wanted to get a really good understanding of the story. I visited the El Presidio Museum. I watched documentaries. I went through thousands of historic photos of Tucson. They have historians on staff with the Fox Theater, and so they helped me out. I had pulled so many photos of the Tucson skyline. I just wanted to get different snapshots of cool pieces of Tucson in this image, but a historian could look at it and kind of walk me through what era everything represented. And so the center image of the mural just celebrates our Spanish roots, our Mexican culture that we still have, that's still so strong to this day. And then moving into the turn of the century, when the train depot came to Tucson, we really started developing into like a metropolitan city. And so the last frame kind of celebrates Tucson becoming a city. You see it's kind of a vintage car, and it's almost like the car is driving into the future, where what's in the foreground is closer to the 20s and 30s, and then as he drives further into the distance, you're seeing imagery that becomes more and more modern, until off in the distance is Joe Pagac's recent mural, just kind of symbolizing like how cool like Tucson grew into. I wanted to represent the female presence of Tucson and developing Tucson, and what I landed on was the cowgirl, the horse, like sort of coming out of the mural. And you know, the women of our city created our culture in a lot of ways, so I really cared to represent the female presence in Tucson. I just, especially as I did so much research, I just developed even more pride for our city. And that's just what, when somebody is experiencing this mural and this project, all 4 murals, I just hope that they just generate so much enthusiasm for our city.